What's going on, everybody? My name is Hydros, and welcome back to some more My Hero Academia Ultra Impact. And today we're going to be doing our very own tier list, judging all of the current UR characters in the game and ranking them from best to worst. Now, before we go ahead and get started, make sure you guys go down there and click that red subscribe button if you haven't already, because about 79% of you haven't actually subscribed yet. So please do the amazing thing and click that red subscribe button. We are almost at 5K on the channel. That's insane. Thank you guys so much for all the support, by the way. And as well as drop a like down below on today's video if you guys do enjoy, and comment hashtag tier list and let me know your thoughts on my tier list and also where you would rank characters as well. Also, to make sure you go follow me on Twitter at HydrosPlays, because I want you guys to tweet at me your tier list and what you guys think as well for all the characters in the game. And also, I will leave a link for the tier list maker down in the description down below, as well as for the Ultra Impact database website that I'm also currently developing for you guys. So again, all of these links will be down in the description down below for you guys. So let's go ahead and just start off with the latest character, and that is going to be the Nejire Hado, the green Nejire Hado. And there's no doubt about it. She is an S rank character. She is by far the best support character you can have in the game. She beats Momo, she beats Ochako. She is literally the best supporting character that you could have, especially as a healer, because she is healing for a lot. Like, she is a lot of healing, so she's going to help you a lot in USJ, VE Tower, even PvP. I've run into a couple teams with Nejire on the team in PvP, and man, is it frustrating, but man, having your own on your team makes it a little bit less frustrating, I'll tell you that. But again, she's going to come in handy in a lot of different things, helping you survive longer and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and take a look at her kit just to kind of judge a little bit more. So Nejire, she's going to be increasing allies plus ultra gauge in her plus ultra attack. She's going to be giving plus ultra gauge on her second action skill, which is also an AoE. She's going to be giving plus ultra gauge if you are on the team with UA student tag allies, and then also auto healing 20% of all allies for 3 turns, and also gaining grit. Grit basically is living on 1 HP, so she's going to be living on 1 HP, then she's going to auto heal herself, then gaining grit again. If she has auto HP, because she goes below 50%, she's going to get grit again. She's going to be surviving over and over and over again, giving herself HP, giving your whole team HP as well, because her first action skill is recover 25% HP for 1 ally. That ally is also going to get a power buff of 30% for 3 turns, then also recovering all other allies by 25%. So she is not going to be the best damage dealer, but she is by far the best healer in the game, hands down, like no doubt about it. So let's start off with my second favorite here, and that is going to be the Bakugo, Blue Bakugo, one of the best damage dealers in the game. He stacks, he does well in PvP, he does well in arena, he does well in USJ, especially the red USJ specifically, and he does well in VE Tower, getting off that damage, but as long as you have a unit that also helps him get those crits off as a crit buffer, he's also going to do well in VE Tower, because the VE Tower does require you to get off a little bit. It gives you a lot of extra points for having crits and stuff like that. So again, Bakugo, getting you through events specifically, he's going to be really, really good as well, because he's one of the best damage dealers at the start of the game as well as currently in the game. He still is really, really good. So let's see here. We have the World Heroes mission units. The World Heroes mission units are not on global yet. We don't know when they will be coming. I did a video on when we could potentially expect them to come in the game. So we have the Bakugo, the Deeku, and the Todoroki. The Todoroki is he's a blue unit. He is also one of the best. I would actually put him above Bakugo. I would say, yeah, he would go between Bakugo and Nejire. Nejire, again, is just so good, right? Let's take a look at the World Heroes mission Todoroki here really quickly, because Todoroki does a lot. He does a lot, and he's really good for what he does. He's going to inflict 600% damage to one enemy. He's going to get that freeze, and he also gives that burn chance, also more freezes. And he's going to have a medium chance to inflict restraint on an enemy, so that's going to help you as well. Then also, he's going to be buffing all allies' skills and dealing an additional 30% damage on his first action skill. So he's going to be giving a buff while also inflicting that potential burn. He's also an AoE. Then also he's going to inflict 300% damage with a medium chance to freeze. Then he's also going to be doing used in a chain successfully. All allies gain 30% damage cut for 2 turns. So not only are your allies going to be gaining damage, they're going to be taking less damage for 2 turns. That's going to be really, really good. All your allies are going to get a burn resistance buff, so that's also going to be really good for you. Then also at the start of wave, he's going to be increasing his own power, and also increases his own power by 40% if there's a pro hero ally on your team. You most likely will find yourself running a pro hero ally at some point on your team. So again, that's Todoroki. He does a lot. He helps out your team quite a bit while also getting out that damage. Todoroki, by far, is one of the best World Heroes mission units specifically. This Bakugo, the red World Heroes mission Bakugo, he is really good. I would put him at A ranking, at high A ranking, because this Bakugo is, again, he's super useful, especially in like PvP. He was probably, I believe, one of the best PvP units for a long time, and I think he still is one of the best PvP units on JP, in my opinion. Bakugo is the only one of the World Heroes mission units I do not have specifically. I have the other two, but I never had a chance to pull him. I went like 2 full rotations of 2 pities. I believe that I go 2 full rotations. Oh, I think I went almost 2. I went 1 and I bought 1 in pity. Then I was trying to get the last pity, but I don't think I actually reached the final pity. So I was not able to actually get Bakugo, unfortunately. But again, he's going to be dealing 700% damage to one enemy and deal an additional 40% damage if an enemy has a critical rate debuff. And again, this critical rate debuff stuff is going to be useful in stuff like VE Tower and stuff like that, where he's going to be very useful. And he also is very useful in PvP, like I said. Inflicting 300% damage to a single enemy. Skills deal an additional 50% damage for 3 turns. He is buffing himself, giving his skills an additional 50%. Then he's also inflicting damage to one enemy. He has the low chance of burn. And then also, if it used in a chain successfully, he's going to reduce the enemy critical rate for 3 turns by 20%. So again, reducing that enemy critical rate, he's going to get that critical rate debuff, additional damage off on his plus ultra. And also, if you couple him with other crit rate debuffers on your team, man, that's gonna be really good. He's also really fast. Like, he's I think he's probably one of the fastest world hero minute units in the game. But he's gonna increase his speed by 30% when HP is 50% or more. So he's gonna be doing a lot of speed right there. Then also fill his plus ultra gauge by 30% at the start of the battle. He's literally getting 30%, boom, right when you start the battle. Then HP is 50% or less. He's going to increase his power. Then also at the start of each wave, reduce enemy power by 20% for 3 turns. So he's going to get that power debuff and also a critical rate debuff. So that's going to come in handy again for stuff like USJ, well, more so VE Tower and also PvP. USJ, yeah, he'll come in handy quite a bit actually, but I think his main focus is going to be PvP and in the VE Tower specifically for him. So he's going to be a really good unit, A tier. The World Heroes mission, Deeku, he's purple. He's good. He's not that fantastic in my opinion. I used him a bit. I think outside of the event, I think the World Heroes mission free-to-play event that comes with these units, all that's really useful for him is being in the event, and then once the event leaves, he's not that fantastic. Like, he doesn't really do too much. He's going to be inflicting damage based on his speed, and that's not really ideal for him, or especially in this unit. I mean, he's not dealing damage to himself, which is fantastic. He doesn't hurt himself at all, but at the same time, he's being based on speed's not the greatest thing. I would put this Deeku, I would put him in a C tier. I wouldn't put him as the worst unit. He does have some useful, like, again, in the event, he has some uses in like story event grinding and stuff like that if you really need a purple unit, but he wouldn't be the most fantastic in PvP. Definitely wouldn't be the most fantastic in Ultra Arena. Now we have the Air Force Deeku, the blue Air Force Deeku, the first unit to come out on JP, and Air Force Deeku, man. Again, blue is by far one of the most dominant teams in the game because blue just has a lot of very good units. Blue, again, is also one of my favorite teams to run, but again, it just has a lot of good units, right? So Air Force Deeku, I would put him at A because Air Force Deeku just does a lot of things, man. He does a lot. Especially because with Air Force Deeku, he came out with a free-to-play blue All Might, and that blue All Might works super well with him. And he's also blue, so he works on blue team, man. Oh god, it's so good. So he's going to be dealing 700% damage and also decreasing enemy critical rate. So again, good for VE Tower, good for something like USJ, especially good for PvP and VE Tower. He's going to be inflicting 350% damage to a single enemy and then decreasing enemy speed by 30%. Again, very good for like something like PvP, especially when you want to get those turns off super quickly. Inflicting 350% damage to a single enemy and deal an additional 50% damage if the enemy has a speed debuff. Again, you have Momo, the blue Momo has a speed debuff on one of hers as well, so you could also utilize her with this Deeku. And then also, he's also giving out that speed debuff himself. So you would pop this first one, then pop this second one, boom, that extra 30% damage right there. Or decreasing 30% speed, then he gets that additional damage right here. So that's, again, really good. And then basically when his HP is 50% or more, running him with Nezare, he's gonna always probably be above 50% at most of the point in the battle. So his skills dealing additional 50% damage. And then also when HP is 50% or less, he does gain evasion. So he's going to be dodging for 3 attacks. And he's also going to be increasing his speed once only. So again, he's super, super good. I would still rank him as like high A. I would put him, I'd put him maybe just a little bit above Bakugo. Maybe Todoroki and this Deku are probably like about even Steven in terms of ranking, in my opinion. But again, still very, very good units. So definitely recommend trying to get those if you can. Momo. She's not going to be a damage dealer. She's not super useful in a lot of different things. She's useful in something like USJ. She's useful in something, not so much for PvP. I feel like she's going to get creamed a lot in PvP. That's why Nezare is a better support unit than Momo specifically. But Momo does buff blue units. I would put her at a low A, mid A range, because she is still a very good unit, especially when you're rerolling. You definitely want these two together specifically. But again, she's not going to be the most utilized character for everything. Again, this game, I just want to stress out that this game does not have a definitive best 100% unit in the game, because each different unit does different things for different events. So you're going to be utilizing different teams very often, right? So again, she's very good. The Ochako right here, the green Ochako, I would also put her at A. I think I'd put her just maybe a little bit above Momo, because Ochako does give evasion. She does be healing. She does counter attacks. She is a pretty good, she's okay damage dealing wise. It's like Momo, she's not like the best damage dealer either, but Momo and Ochako going to be healing. Ochako giving that extra counter ability to normal attacks and stuff like that. So Ochako just a little bit better than Momo. I feel like she's a lot better use on a lot of other teams, especially with like Green Hawks and the Green Todoroki specifically. So Ochako does have a lot of uses, especially if you pair Nezare with Ochako plus something like Green Todoroki, Green Hawks, or something like that. Like, goodness, you're gonna be doing you're gonna be living. You're not dying at all. Like, again, if Ochako had like a taunt ability, something like Kirishima does, she would probably be super busted. But this Asui, I didn't really use her too much because I didn't find that she was all too useful that much. She does inflict confusion, which that's okay. I don't really know where confusion would be too useful. Maybe in PvP, outside of like story events and regular events and stuff like that. It's gonna be decreasing decrease enemy by 30%. I don't even know what that even meant. I don't know what that decrease was supposed to be. I have to fix that. Whoops. But inflict 350% damage to a single enemy, and when using a chain, decrease enemy critical rate by 25%, decrease defense. So she actually would find her uses in VE Tower, especially actually. So yeah, she would actually be useful in VE Tower. But outside of VE Tower, I don't see her being all that useful too much else. She has camouflage for 3 turns, which is fine. Increasing all allies critical rate, which is pretty good. So she's going to be buffing that critical rate, and then buffing all blue type allies ultra gauge by 30% increase. And then when camouflage, she's going to get a critical rate increase by 35%. So outside of VE Tower, I wouldn't say she's all too useful in PvP. I wouldn't say she's all too useful in something like USJ or anything like that. I do believe that she would be very useful in VE Tower, but outside of VE Tower, that's all that I really see her being useful for. I would put her just around C. Not too good. She's not the most fantastic, but she's not, maybe, I would say maybe high C. Maybe high C with this above this Deku right here. Yeah, I would say that. High C, low B, roughly hiding around in there. Just we'll see how it goes, right? But that's roughly where I'll put her. The Kirishimas. Let's do them next, because the Kirishimas are they're a mixed bag, right? Everyone loves the red Kirishima. Everyone loves him for his counters and stuff like that. Let's just open up the 2 Kirishimas real quick. The red Kirishima, he's going to be giving himself a barrier for 3 hits, and then also he's going to counter all normal attacks for 2 turns, and also reducing enemy self-damage by taking about 40%. Then also he's going to be inflicting damage, taunting the enemies for 3 turns, and reducing self-damage by 45% for 1 turn, buffing all the blue type allies by 25%, and then increasing plus ultra gauge by 15% every time you inflict critical damage. So he's going to be nice. He'll get his own plus ultra gauge up really quickly if you especially run him on a team that increases your own critical rate and get those critical hits off a lot better. Other than that though, he does, again, he has counters to normal attacks. He has the barrier and stuff like that, and reduces a lot of self damage. But the blue Kirishima, he's going to increase his defense by 20% and also gaining grit. So he's going to live. So if you have him coupled with Nezare or just a healer in general, if you increase your HP, fall to 1 HP, gaining grit, boom, done. He's gonna gain grit. He's not gonna fall below 1 HP. Heal back up, plus get his pulse ultra back off, gain grit again. He's not dying. He's gonna be gaining barrier for 2 hits as well, and also taunting the enemy for 3 turns along with his barrier. And he's gonna be countering normal attacks for 3 turns, gaining barrier for 2 of those hits, and increasing skill damage for 3 turns. And then also, if unit takes critical damage, he's going to increase his skill damage up to 30%. And then when HP is below 50, he's going to increase his skill damage by another 35%. And then he's also going to be increasing blue allies max HP by 25%. So again, these guys have their own uses in their own team. Specifically, if you're running a red team, this red Kirishima, boom, instant, I would recommend him there. This blue Kirishima, I would definitely recommend him as well. Especially if you're running a blue team, he's going to be taking all those hits for you. And also, I think he's just slightly better than the red Kirishima. Again, they each are good in their own right, especially for their counters, taunts, and barriers. But I do believe that this one is just, this was a launch day unit. This one's just a small bit better than him. Again, just because he is newer, right? So I would say blue Kirishima is very good. I would put him above blue Bakugo. Red Kirishima, I would put him at high A tier above the Bakugo because he is, I would say he's very recommended on those red teams. Running with this red Bakugo, the World Heroes Mission Bakugo, oh, that's instant cop right there, instant goodness. So I'd recommend him with blue red Bakugo, but red Kirishima A tier. I do feel that the blue is though slightly better. So that's just my opinion there. Let's see here. Let's look at the green Todoroki. Green Todoroki, he is a very, he's a slow unit. He's not too fantastic. I mean, he's good on a green team. He's very, very good, but he's just really slow. He's also going to be giving out that freeze and burn chance. Again, he's going to be running good with that blue Bakugo. And he's also going to be increasing that plus ultra gauge during battle once, and then also inflicting freeze to an enemy when you're attacked and stuff like that. So again, he has very good uses and very good kits, especially with the burn and freezes, and then increasing his own power by 40%, medium chance to burn. I would say this Todoroki is an A tier. I would put him roughly around with the Ochako and Momo and stuff like that, just because he's good, but he's not fantastic because his speed does limit him. Maybe, I think I'd put him in B tier, actually. That's probably where I'd put him, just because of his lack of speed makes him just, he's good, but the speed just kind of, I'll put him in low B, low A. I'll do that. Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's go with some units that I do know of. Tokoyami. This guy really doesn't have that much of a use. I would say he's D tier. I don't really find much use for him outside of anything. I never actually got the chance to pull him, but just judging based off of his kit, which I don't actually have on the website right now. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see here. Tokoyami. I would say Tokoyami. Maybe not D tier. His kit is fine. I'd say maybe D, low D tier. I'd put him at specifically. Oh, let me just get these guys out of the way. These guys here, let's these Dekus. This Deku here, no. This Deku, low D. I put this Tokoyami above the Deku here, but this Deku's just no. No, you're not. No. We don't need that. It does not need to be there. All right. Let's see here. This, oh yeah. Duh. The Mirio, super amazing. He's not like the best unit, but Mirio, oh my god, he's such an annoyance in PvP. Actually, you know what? No, Mirio's, I don't know, PvP I find him useful. I'll put him here. No, I'll put him here. Todoroki, I'll put you here. That's kind of the order that I think I would recommend these units in. Mirio, again, super useful. Again, Mirio, let's look at him real quick. He's going to be confusing enemies, sure, but he's going to be getting evasion, increasing his critical rate, decreasing enemy power, gaining evasion for 1 hit. He is super annoying to deal with, especially in PvP, because you can't hit him sometimes, and he also taunts and gains evasion, so he just literally can't be hit for 2 hits. And it's just super annoying dealing with this Mirio, but he's so fun to use too at the same time. So he would be, again, in my opinion, high A tier, just because of his fact in PvP, he's super useful and whatnot. So I would recommend him in that kind of tier. Again, the Todoroki, I'm still kind of torn between green Todoroki. He does have uses, but it's just his speed that gets me. His speed not being enough, just kind of, but again, you could run critical or speed debuffs on units, and then he could be very useful. I'll put him in S. I'll switch my mind. I'm gonna put him in S for right now. I'll switch my mind up on that for now. Let's see here. The Blue Hawks here. Let's see. I'm not sure where I'd put him. The Blue Hawks, I don't think he really is too fantastic. Do I have Hawks on here? No, I did not get to Blue Hawks head on the site. So again, I had to add him. Just be mindful of that. But the Blue Hawks, he's one of the newer units that came out on JP. He's gonna have what is he doing? He's inflicting 550% damage to a single enemy. His skill damage is based on speed. Skill damage based on speed, just for the fact that skill damage is based on speed for majority of things. That turns me off quite a bit. I'd put him in D tier just because of that ability right there. I dislike units that have damage based on speed, because that can really hurt you in the long run, especially if you're getting speed debuffed from lots of enemies. So I'd put him in D. I'd put him in high D. I'd put him above Tokoyami just ever so slightly. Actually, that's probably where I'd put him. I don't really know, man. I think he has a decent kit, not best. Again, he's not awful, but he's not super useful either. So I'd put him in C. The Yellow All Might, the VE Tower, free to play UR All Might, one of the very first free URs you could obtain in the game since launch of the game. This guy, he has aged a lot, because this guy he's not that useful anymore by any means. So yeah, goodness, man. He applies high field, which high field is what does high field do? I cannot remember specifically. Let's see, high field plus ultra gauge fills up 50% faster. So again, that's all right, but it's on his plus ultra attack, which is kind of weird. And then also he gets an additional 40% damage if the enemy is a villain character. You're not going to be fighting that many villains, I feel. Villains are kind of scarce, even through story. There are still villains. There very much are still villains, especially in VE Tower and stuff. But outside of the villain things, it just makes him very hard to want to run, because again, he does get grit once only, increases his power at 50% or less, and then he does decrease speed and power. The decrease to his speed and power every turn up to 30%, so he gets weaker and slower. That just really hurts him in the long run for me. So this VE Tower All Might, again, he's not super amazing, but he's not awful either. I would say he's low C tier for now. The Tokoyami, I think I would. Do I want to move Tokoyami? No, I think Tokoyami is fine. Again, yeah, I think I'm good so far where I'm at. But either way, let's see here. Let's look at the Shigaraki and All for One. Right, let's look at these two. Shigaraki and All for One. Shigaraki and All for One. They do quite a bit. They are probably some good units, especially for villains. But until villains gets a better roster, I feel like these two are B tier for now. They're good, don't get me wrong, they work well together, but outside of working well together, again, you're going to be fighting a lot of hero teams. But again, villains with these two, they're also purple. There's not much else they could really be good in. VE Tower, not so much. I mean, there are villains in VE Tower, but God, I mean, heroes in VE Tower, but I don't really see them having much uses. Even in PvP, I think this team just gets creamed quite easily. They don't really have good villain buffers currently in the game. I mean, some of the SRs are really good. I'll do an SR tier list, but I just think I don't think they're that fantastic right now. So we'll go with B tier for now for those two. The brand new Shigaraki, though, the red one, he's still also really good. I would put All for One above the purple Shigaraki, and I would also put this Shigaraki in B tier solely for the fact of that he's better than the purple one, but he's still not the most fantastic. Like, let's look at him real quick. He decreases enemy defense, which is really cool. Inflict 200% to all enemies, while also inflicting 600% to a single enemy. So that's actually really decent. That's why I say he's B. And he does inflict self-damage. That is where it does get me a little bit hit. Self-damage is not fantastic because this is a Season 5 Shigaraki where he's inflicting his little self-damage. He does get that plus Ultra Gauge 50% and does gain some evasion for a turn, so that's still pretty good. Not the best, but still pretty good if he's 50% or less. So again, this self-damage does help get to this point, but the self-damage is really not so fantastic, especially if you're doing harder boss fights. You're gonna die really quick, so that's not really ideal. Then at the start of each wave, he's gonna get high field for 3 turns, so his plus Ultra Gauge is gonna fill up faster, and then he's gonna increase his attack by 35%. So again, he's not awful. He's not amazing either. I would say, again, he's higher than this Shigaraki, because I do feel like he's still a little bit better than him, and he does have more uses than this guy, and he would be good with all for one. I'd say that's where I would shove him currently. Actually, no, I take that back. I would put this Shigaraki above this Shigaraki, because again, that self-damage, now that I think about it, the self-damage is not all that great, because the purple Shigaraki, he's going to be inflicting extra damage if it's a pro hero. You're going to probably be running into more pro heroes more often than villains for some teams. He's going to apply fear, which is actually really useful in some instances, especially in some VE tower stuff. Then also inflicting damage, and also inflicting damage of pro hero. League of Villains increase power buff, and then also 50% or higher skilled and additional damage by 50%. So yeah, I would say the purple Shigaraki is actually better than the red Shigaraki, because I really wanted the red one to be good when I first saw him. I really want him to be good, but he's just not cutting it so far for a little bit there. So let's go ahead and see some of the other units here. Let's see. One of the first UR endeavors, the only UR endeavor actually, which is this guy. I got to kind of refresh my mind on what he does. I summoned a lot on his banner and I did not actually get him, but he's a very, very good burn unit. And I feel like that he's super useful in some cases as well. So again, he's going to be getting burned. He's going to be increasing additional damage if the enemy has a speed debuff. He's going to decrease enemy speed by 10% for 3 turns. He's going to increase his attack at the start of each wave. And he's also increasing his damage attack if HP is 50% or less, and dealing reverse damage as well, which reverse damage is power increases lower your HP. So the lower his HP gets, the more amazing he's going to be. I would say this endeavor is super amazing, or super good, because and he's really good. He's really useful, especially with the burning, which burning can come in handy in some of the VE tower stuff. And just overall, he's not going to be super useful in something like USJ, which nullifies a lot of that stuff. But I do feel like he's still one of the better UR units to have on your team. I would say high or low S or high A tier is where I'd put this endeavor. Again, he's I would say S. I'll put him in low S for now. That's where I feel comfortable putting him for the time being, right? So let's see here. This yellow Todoroki. Is this yellow Todoroki? I think that's yellow. Yeah, yellow Todoroki. Man, this unit, he does a lot. He does a lot. He's going to be giving allies burn resistance to burn bleed. He's going to be having medium chance to burn, high chance if used in a chain. So he gets that high chance if you use it in a chain as well, and it succeeds. He's going to be increasing his power by 3% up to 30%, and also increasing his critical rate is when HP is 50% or more. So that critical rate is going to be really useful in things like VE Tower and USJ, and even PvP. When HP is 50% left, he's going to get high field and increase his power by 40%. So that's still really good, and also increasing his critical rate by 30% when using his plus ultra attack. So I would say this Todoroki here, man, he is super good. I wouldn't say he's S tier, but I would say he is high A tier underneath that Mirio, because he's really good, man. He's like he's really good, judging off as his kit alone. I actually don't have him on JP, so I never actually got to use him. I actually just got him on global. I will be giving him another test run just to see, but judging just from his kit alone, based on PvP, based on VE Tower and USJ, yeah, high A. I would say that's where he's gonna fall. So let's see here. The green Hawks, the green UR Hawks. Now, where would this guy go? This guy does work well with the Ochako. He's gonna be working well with something like let's see, he's gonna be working well with stuff. He's gonna be dealing all damage and then increasing all allies speed, so he's gonna be a speed buffer again. That's good. He's gonna be giving a second chance normal attack to all your allies too, which is really decent. You're going to be getting off a little bit of extra damage. He's going to obviously get a power buff when his evasion is active. Again, he's going to work well with units that give evasion to allies, or giving himself evasion, so that's going to be useful. Then also all allies evade 1 attack at the start of the battle. Again, that's going to be really useful again for something like PvP. Starting off the battle, just avoiding those hits as much as you can. So I would say, judging off his kit, again, he's also one of the first release day units. I would say he is really good. I would put him a little bit above Momo, because he has a little bit extra damage dealer. He has a little bit more uses, and also he can do a little bit more. But Momo, again, still really good at the same time. All right, the new purple Kirishima. He is one of also the newer units that just released like about a month, almost a month ago on JP. I would say at this point, he is all right. He's not fantastic. He's not the best. But the Kirishima, where is he at? Do I have him on here? I do not. Again, let's again, I haven't really caught up with my own site yet. Again, I'm working as fast as I can to do that. So here we go. Inflict 60% damage to all enemies. Inflict 130% to all. Inflict 130% damage to all allies besides self. He is going to be dealing damage to your allies. That, I mean, he has a chance to paralyze enemies, and he also has auto heal for 20% for 3 turns, dealing heavy damage on his thunderclap, and then also. Yeah, this guy, I do not like the chance to paralyze the enemies and allies. I never actually took a huge look at this guy's kit, but man, this guy, no. I do not like this common art. He's all, a lot of his stuff is actually not too bad, but it's just the paralyze and the inflict damage to ally stuff. It's just, I don't know. I would say he is B tier. That's I'll put him there. That's where I feel comfortable. I don't like the inflicting damage to allies part, or inflicting paralyze, especially because that's going to hinder you, especially if you get just super unlucky with that. Again, he's still really good. I would say he's above the Shigaraki just ever so slightly, but that I'd put him in B tier. That's where I feel comfortable putting him, because just judging based off his kit, yeah, I don't really know. I don't think I like Shigaraki. I would probably put him in high C if it wasn't for that. But B, I feel comfortable with B-ish, just because I think that's where he would be. All right. So we have some of the last units here. The Red All Might. The Red All Might. This guy, he's good. Red All Might. Boom. Put him with these 3 on the team. Boom. You're good. You're good to go. That's a good team. Overhaul, he's also a red unit, also pretty decent. I would put him on A tier, just because overall is still pretty good for a villain team, and also he is an STR type, so he has a lot of teams that he can run with. Especially he can work well with the Shigaraki if he wanted to. And let's just take a sneak little peek at overhaul. Overall, again, he's going to be applying fear to attacked enemy, decrease the enemy defense, and then also low chance to make attacked enemies bleed, decreasing their power. He's going to be doing a lot of debuffs to enemies, so he's going to be fairly useful, right? The Shoto Aizawa, the yellow Aizawa. I say not more. He is still one of the better units, especially for a pro hero team. Aizawa is a very, very good unit. That's really all that needs to be said. He's useful in a lot of situations, and he's very, very good. The other Aizawa, for example, though, not so much. I would still say he's a little bit better than Hawks, but he is not the most fantastic when it comes to a lot of stuff. I'd put him there. You know, I don't think that's where he would go. This is literally like the worst unit in the game. Literally the worst unit in the game. The new Season 5 Toga. I would say right here. The Season 5 Toga is still pretty good. No, do I really want that? I would say so. That Toga's, she's still pretty good. I would say so. Now that I think about it, I really think about it. I do think Mirio deserves the S rank slot. I think Mirio does. I'm gonna put this blue Toga in B and A because she is still really good. This new Deku though, the new Deku and the new Bakugo, those two guys, this one's okay. The Deku though, I think the Deku is actually really good for what he does. The new Deku. Do I have him on here? No, I don't. I don't have him on here. But the new Deku, he is still decently good. Let me see. Let's look at him real quick. He is one of the other Dekus that does not deal damage to himself, which is awesome. These other two Dekus that deal damage to themselves, just really, no. They don't need to be doing that. But I get why they do. They're from a different time frame. This one's one of the newer versions of Deku, so that's why he doesn't do that. He's going to be gaining grit, so he's going to be increasing his speed. He's going to be increasing his attack. He's going to be filling his plus ultra gauge, plus skill damage when used in a chain, and also gaining grit. So again, he's going to be super useful. Gaining that grit, plus Nejire plus him, plus Nejire plus him, boom. He's going to be gaining grit over and over and over again. Again, he's going to be living, dealing that damage, and doing pretty good. So again, that's probably where I would put him. The newer Bakugo as well, though. The newer Bakugo, I don't know where I'd put the new Bakugo. The new Bakugo, I think, would probably be... I think he would be about B tier for me. He's decent. He's about average is all I can really say for that Bakugo. The Bakugo He does, what does he do? He does, let's see, he inflicted with, if not inflicted with speed debuff. So if he does not have a speed debuff, he gets an extra 20% skill damage. That's useful. He gives himself an extra 30% speed on his first action skill. He's going to be increasing all allies critical rate. So again, that's decent. Filling plus ultra gauge for himself by 30%. Increasing his attack. When speed debuff is active, he's going to gain a 15% auto, skill damage increase. So yeah, I would say that he's really decent. I would say he's above Kaminari, but not too much. He's still good. He's not, but I would say he doesn't have a lot of uses outside of that. He's also what? He's also a yellow typing. Again, he's gonna be all right. So the other Bakugo and this Todoroki. This Todoroki, right there with the other one. This guy's still really good. Again, where is he at? This Todoroki, the purple Todoroki, specifically. Again, he's going to be low chance to burn, increase critical damage if critical hit, and then also increase critical rate. He's going to be given a lot of critical rates, inflicting the freeze, filling plus ultra gauge, increasing his critical rate. When landing a critical hit, he's going to be increasing his attack and then increasing his speed. Again, he's really good and going to be really useful for those USJ and VE tower fights, and also can be really decent in PvP. So again, that's where I'd put him specifically. This Bakugo, I'd put this Bakugo above the Sue. I don't think he's awful, but I don't think he's good either. I feel like he's a little below average. And then the last one being this guy here, this Shinzo. This Shinzo, I would say I'd put him. I would put him. Where do I put him there? I don't. I think I would put him above the Kaminari. That's probably where I'd put the Shinzo. But actually, I would this Toga B tier. I would move. I'd probably move these guys. I think I want to move these guys to A tier, low A tier actually, because these guys are still pretty good for a villain team. Those two guys can be very, very useful. But I think that's where my tier list is going to be wrapping up. Again, sorry that the video did go a little too long, but again, I wanted to kind of go over kits and refresh my memory during the actual video itself, because I know that a lot of you guys want to know what these guys do. Again, make sure to check out the MHA Ultra Impact database website if you guys do want to see more of that. Also, again, if you want to make your own tier list, link to that be down in the description down below. Make sure to go follow me on Twitter. Tweet me your tier list so I can see what you guys think of all the characters, as well as drop a like down below on today's video if you guys do enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic day.